I want to share something that genuinely reshaped my life. Something so simple that most people overlook it. It's not a new habit, not a motivational trick, and definitely not one of those intense routines everyone talks about online. It's meditation, quiet, steady, and surprisingly powerful. For me, it became the one place where the world finally stopped spinning, and I can hear myself without interference. When I first started, I didn't expect anything. I just sat down, closed my eyes, and tried to breathe slowly. And for the first time in a long while, I noticed how loud my mind really was. Thoughts jumping from one thing to another. Emotions I didn't even realize I was carrying. It felt like trying to listen to a whisper during a storm. But that whisper, that was me. The real me. Not the version shaped by expectations, trends, or other people's opinions. Little by little, with every session, that inner voice became clearer. I began to recognize what I actually thought, what I truly felt, and what genuinely mattered to me. Meditation didn't silence the world around me, but it helped me quiet the noise inside. That alone changed the way I lived my days. What surprised me even more was how my body reacted. As I focused on my breathing, I could feel tension melting from my shoulders, my chest loosening, my heartbeat softening. I didn't force relaxation. It just happened naturally the moment I allowed myself to stop rushing. For a few minutes, I didn't have to be productive, impressive, or perfect. I just had to be present. Over time, I realized that meditation wasn't about sitting still. It was about returning to myself. Every thought that tried to pull me away became a chance to practice coming back. And in that quiet returning, I started to build a new relationship with my mind. I became less reactive, less anxious, less overwhelmed by every passing emotion. I learned that I didn't have to fight my thoughts. I just had to observe them and let them go. There's something truly freeing about discovering that your thoughts aren't in control. You are. You can choose which ones deserve your attention and which ones are just noise. You can choose how you respond, not just react out of habit. Meditation taught me that small, gentle pauses can transform the entire flow of my day. Now I use these pauses intentionally. In the morning, meditation helps me set the tone for the day, not by imagining some perfect scenario, but by grounding myself in calm and clarity before anything else has a chance to influence my mood. During the day, even a short moment of quiet helps reset my mind, especially when life gets overwhelming. And at night, meditation helps me let go of everything I don't want to carry with me into tomorrow. I started noticing how my imagination also became sharper. When I focus inward, I can build images in my mind more clearly, my goals, my feelings, my ideal version of myself. These inner pictures guide me, like a quiet compass pointing toward who I want to become. Meditation didn't make my life perfect, but it made me more aware, more patient, and more honest with myself. It helped me see the world with softer eyes and my own thoughts with a calmer heart. And that's why I want to share this journey. Because if it helped me rebuild my inner world, it might help someone else start theirs. As I went deeper into this practice, I began to realize that meditation wasn't just a moment of silence. It was a mirror that reflected everything I usually tried to avoid. My fears, my insecurities, my doubts, all the hidden corners of my mind began to show themselves. At first, it felt uncomfortable. No one really prepares you for the moment you sit face to face with the parts of yourself you've been pushing away. But slowly, I learned something important. Awareness isn't the enemy. It's the beginning of change. In those quiet minutes, I started to see how many of my thoughts were automatic, repetitive, and completely unnecessary. Like a constant background noise I had accepted as normal. Meditation taught me to notice these thoughts without letting them control me. Instead of being swept away by every emotion, I learned to stay grounded, observing what was happening inside me like a calm witness. One of the biggest shifts happened when I realized how much energy I spent reacting to things I couldn't control. A message left unanswered, a comment from someone having a bad day, a plan that didn't go the way I expected. Before, every small inconvenience felt like a personal storm. But with meditation, I learned to pause before reacting. That pause became my superpower. It allowed me to choose clarity over impulse, kindness over frustration, and patience over stress. At the same time, meditation helped me reconnect with my body in a way I never had before. I began noticing subtle signals: tension in my neck, heaviness in my chest, tightness in my jaw. These sensations became messages instead of background discomfort. I understood what made me stressed, what drained me, and what restored me. This awareness helped me treat myself with more compassion. Instead of pushing through everything on autopilot, I also discovered the value of breathing, not just as something automatic, but as a tool. With every slow inhale, I felt space returning to my mind. With every exhale, I felt heaviness leaving my body. It was like resetting my inner system, removing layers of pressure I didn't even know I was holding. The more I practiced, the easier it became to step out of emotional noise and into a calm, steady rhythm. What surprised me most, though, was how meditation changed the way I interacted with other people. I became more patient, more understanding, more present in conversations. Instead of thinking about what to say next, I listened. Instead of assuming the worst in someone's behavior, I started seeing that everyone is carrying their own invisible weight. Meditation didn't make me distant. It made me more connected, more open, more grounded in the moment. These changes weren't sudden. They didn't happen in a single day or even a week. They grew slowly, like roots beneath the surface, steady and quiet. But one day I looked back and realized how far I'd come. The things that once overwhelmed me no longer had the same power. The emotions that used to control me became waves I could observe without drowning. I wasn't trying to escape my thoughts anymore. I was learning to live with them peacefully. Meditation became a place where I could reset, reflect, and rebuild myself from the inside out. A place where I could let go of the weight I carried and make room for clarity, confidence, and inner strength. And the deeper I went, the more I understood that the real transformation wasn't happening during the meditation itself. It was happening in the way I lived afterward. The most powerful part of meditation, I realized, is that it doesn't just help me feel calm in the moment. It changes the way I live my life. When I carry the calm and awareness from meditation into my daily actions, everything shifts. Decisions become clearer, interactions become kinder, and challenges feel less intimidating. It's not magic. It's simply the effect of practicing presence and understanding myself better. I started noticing small moments throughout the day where I could apply what I had learned. If a stressful email arrives, I take a breath before responding. If someone is impatient or rude, I remind myself that their behavior is about them, not me. If I feel overwhelmed by tasks, I pause, prioritize, and act deliberately rather than reactively. Meditation doesn't remove the obstacles, but it gives me the mental space to navigate them with balance. Visualization became another tool I incorporated into my routine. In meditation, I imagine specific outcomes, not as fantasies, but as guides to my actions. I picture myself moving through the day with confidence, completing tasks, connecting with people, and staying calm under pressure. These images become mental maps that my brain uses subconsciously, subtly shaping how I behave and respond. Over time, I noticed that the boundaries between visualization and reality blurred. The calm, focused, and positive version of myself that I practice in meditation started showing up naturally in my daily life. Evenings became sacred for reflection and gentle programming. I think back on the day, replaying moments with gratitude and curiosity, not judgment. I imagine tomorrow and the opportunities it holds, planting seeds for positive experiences and growth. This nightly practice isn't about controlling the future. It's about preparing my mind to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Over time, this habit rewires my thinking patterns and strengthens my resilience. Meditation also taught me patience, not just with myself, but with life. Change doesn't happen overnight. Transformation is gradual, subtle, often invisible at first, but the moments accumulate. The way I handle stress, the way I listen to others, the way I take care of myself. All these little shifts build up. I've learned that consistency matters more than perfection. Even a few minutes each day have a ripple effect that shapes my thoughts, my body, and my interactions. What I appreciate most is that meditation allowed me to reclaim my inner world. In a world full of distractions, noise, and pressure, I now have a place where I can pause, breathe, and reconnect with myself. It's a sanctuary that exists not in a physical space, but in my mind, accessible anytime, anywhere. This sense of control, of clarity, of inner peace is the true gift of meditation. Finally, I realize that meditation is not just a practice. It's a lifestyle. It's the lens through which I experience life, the framework that supports my decisions, and the tool that keeps me aligned with my values and goals. It's not about escaping reality or avoiding challenges. It's about meeting life fully consciously and with a sense of calm confidence. And this is why I share it. Because the same tools that help me live with clarity and purpose can help anyone find their own balance and strength, no matter who they are or where they are in life.